Yo, you got the original Lone Wolf coming at you with a sort of brief little video. I ain't gonna spend too much time on it. I just want to talk about conditional acceptances, aka counter offers, which is something that everybody needs to be aware of. To start off, I want to thank all of my new subscribers, the ones that have recently subscribed, and thank you to all the subscribers that's been down with me since day one. I am the original Lone Wolf, and on this channel, the people who follow my channel know that I am not black and African American and all those other dumb misnomers. I am the original man of this land that we know of today as America. All right, and within this channel, we discuss a lot of things in regards to what I just spoke about, and also in regards to what I'm finna talk about tonight. Today is your screen share. Like I've always put out in the past, the screen shares are the ones you want to pay attention to. The screen shares might even be the ones that you may want to share with your friends. All right. What we're going to talk about today is a counter offer. What you do when you get something in the mail. All right. Which is a presentment, also known as an offer. All right. Tell you a story. Close to going on 3 months now. Maybe a little longer than that, because it's been 3 months since I haven't gotten a response. I say maybe 3.5 months ago, I got a letter talking about, to the average person, to the average untrained eye, people who cannot read legalese, people who don't understand contract law. I got what looked to be a bill, something saying I owed money. And it just so happens that it was the state coming after me for the tax year. I think, don't quote me, I have to go back and look through the damn thing. But the tax year of 2020, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me, but if I'm not mistaken, for that so-called tax year, right? And I say so-called because I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say so-called tax year. They come to me like, yeah, Mr. Tanksley, you owe XYZ. And we done added late fees and this, that, and the other. And if you don't do this and do that, we going to add penalties and some other shit. Right? So I did what I always tell you all to do. Right? When I got this shit in the mail, I did what I tell you guys to do all the time. I responded. All right? That's step one. Numero uno. You respond. Right? Because if you watch this channel, all the way around, there's some shit in the game. They mistaken. They've got to be mistaken. Okay? This has got to be a mistake. Right? Anybody who watch this channel, y'all understand that. So I immediately responded to him with a conditional acceptance. All right? And I'm thinking about reading it in another video at a later time. I'm not going to put it on here because I don't want nobody copying it. I encourage everybody to do their own shit. Take what I say, do the research. It's for educational purposes only. This is why I don't charge people. You can't get me caught up in your debacles and your fiascos and shit because I'm not taking money, right? Take the info I give you, you research the shit, and then you put it in your own words. It's your own house. It's your own life. Why are you using mine, right? So I'm not going to put it on here, but I've been thinking about reading it just to give people an idea. In a later video, I might read it and just let a person know what I sent to them. But just, to go through a couple of things. First and foremost, I told them who I was. Who I really was. All right? I'm the beneficiary. That's first and foremost. That's the first thing we need to get understanding. I'm the beneficiary to whatever shit you talking about, whatever's supposed to be going on with this nonsense that you just sent me in the mail and all capital letter names and all such shit. I'm the beneficiary. All right? The beneficiary is not to be harmed. Right? I even took it a step further. You do know that, they signed the Indian Civil Rights Act in 1968, miraculously 7 days after Martin Luther King was murdered. You do realize this, right? See, you want to come talk to me about taxes. How the fuck do you tax the original man of this land? right? This is what's in the conditional acceptance. Now we're gonna go over what they say conditional acceptances is and all this other shit, right? That's what the screen share is for. But I got to put my little rhetoric in because I put the work in. So fuck it. If you watch the channel, if you watch this video, listen to what I got to say. At least I'm out there putting the work in. Step one, I told you I responded to him. That's work right there in itself. I responded. I literally replied back to these motherfuckers. Okay? So I let them know I'm the original man of this land. I don't understand how you can tax me to begin with. I don't get it. How does that work? Can you explain that shit to me? Can you send me something back in law that says it's okay to do that? Right? I let them know about the Wisconsin Supreme Court case that tell you that every taxpayer is assessed to K Trust. Thanks, Christopher Hauser, for that one. I appreciate you, bro. I send a shout out to Chris Hauser because, I get my information from everywhere. I don't give a fuck who it is. It could be a snag-a-tooth homeless dude. If he got that guap, I need it. For real, especially if it's beneficial. So, shout out to you for that, Chris Hauser, on that Supreme Court case. But yeah, it's like, yeah, can you explain this to me? Where did the fuck did the Wisconsin Supreme Court, not the United States Supreme Court, but Wisconsin Supreme Court, where they get that from? What the judges and shit was talking about with that case? What's that about? Huh? Can you explain that to me? Can you explain to me how you can get around the fact that an income tax is considered a direct tax, and a direct tax is unconstitutional? As a matter of fact, any fucking tax is unconstitutional if you don't use the rule of apportionment. Now go look that up. That's the most tea for you to sip on. All right? You put this shit off in your letter and you send it to them. I basically just told y'all a lot of shit you can put in the letter. All you gotta do is just rewind what I said. But it's better to look into this shit for yourself. Because if they respond to you, then what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? If they respond to that. Now, they haven't responded to me. They ass is done. It's been over 3 months. Well, yeah, 3 months. It's like, no, you don't just get to come back and do whatever you want to do. But to make a long story short, in terms of my situation, I haven't heard from them. I haven't heard from these motherfuckers in 3 months. And that's usually what they do here in Illinois. When I send some shit to them, like, pooyow, pow, ping, like in the Batman TV show back in the 60s, bang, plam. When I hit them back with some shit like that, they don't respond. They just leave me alone. That's how they do it in Illinois. That's what they do. A motherfucker get another automobile or whatever, and you drive through the tolls or whatever in the state, and then they send you some shit in the mail, and they, blah, blah, blah. When I respond back, that's it. They don't send nothing else. And I continue to travel through the tolls. You know why? Because I'm traveling. I'm using the word driving, but that's so everybody understand. I'm not really driving. I'm just traveling. And because I understand the difference between the two, I let them know that. And you got to explain to me within this conditional acceptance that I'm sending to you, how can you drag me into that? Okay. Now, let me read this for y'all, right? This is coming out of Black Laws 6th edition. Okay. So the definition of acceptance in Black Laws 6th edition: the taking and receiving of anything in good part and as it were a tacit agreement to preceding act. Okay, which essentially just mean y'all both agreed upon whatever it was y'all agreed upon, and now you have taken possession of it. Okay, it's a which might have been defeated or avoided if such acceptance had not been made. See, that's the opposite of what I just said. All right. It say the act of the person to whom a thing is offered or tendered by another. Keep in mind, offer and tender mean the same thing. They just told you that in the same sentence. Okay. It's a whereby he receives the thing with the intention of retaining it. Such intention being evidenced by a sufficient act. Okay. So in a nutshell, it's basically saying in the definition, you guys agreed upon something, and now that you all came to y'all final agreement, you have taken this into your own possession. That's what acceptance means. So now, when you go over here to conditional, because they actually got a term. This is for all the motherfuckers who can't repel shit like sovereign citizen. Oh, you're just a sovereign citizen and Bullshit. Because sometimes you have to do that too. You might have to do that in a little tribunal, they little bank, because it ain't a court, it's actually a bank. But needless to say, this is for all the motherfuckers who may have an issue with them calling you a sovereign citizen. It's a type of acceptance. Now, I just read the definition of acceptance. It's a types of acceptance. What does it say? Conditional. This is the reason why you hear a lot of people on YouTube talking about conditional acceptances, and the brother Christopher Hauser, he believe in it wholeheartedly. Like he say make like conditional acceptances like the Bible, and he right. So it tell you, say the types of acceptance: conditional acceptance, an engagement to pay the draft or accept the offer on the happening of a condition. A conditional acceptance is in effect a statement that offeree is willing to enter into a bargain differing in some respects from that proposed in the original offer. The conditional acceptance is therefore itself a counter offer. Now, if you remember the movie My Cousin Vinny, go back and watch that movie with Joe Pesci. It was kind of funny how they played that whole scene out when they was in the pool hall and shit, because Joe Pesci ended up whooping Buddy ass and shit. Remember in the scene in My Cousin Vinny when the Buddy beat Marissa Tomei out the money? Marissa Tomei was Joe Pesci's girlfriend and shit, and she went back and told him. And he went back in the pool hall and they was talking about this, that, and the other. And he was like, oh, so this is a counter offer. Well, how about I whoop your ass and you still give me the money? Right? It was a crazy scene, but it's funny how they played it out in the movie, because this is what they're talking about in this definition. I'm going to read it again before I break it down. It's a types of acceptance, conditional acceptance, an engagement to pay the draft or accept the offer on the happening of a condition. Meaning you're willing to go along with it if you do this. Meaning I'll go along with this shit if you do this for me. If you do that for me, I'll go along with it, right? It's a conditional acceptance is in effect a statement that the offeree is willing to enter into a bargain differing in some respect from the proposed and the original offer. The conditional acceptance is therefore itself a counter offer. So I like the way Chris Hauser broke it down in one of his videos. He used like a pair of scissors as an example. So it's like, say I go out on the street and the first person I see, male or female, don't matter. First person I see walking past, I go up to him and I say, here, sir, ma'am, here's a pair of scissors. You can have them. You don't have to pay me for them or nothing. I don't want them back or nothing. You can just keep them and take them with you forever, right? And that person turns around and say to me, well, I'll accept your scissors if you agree to sharpen them for free every time they get dull, right? Now, if I say no, hell no, I ain't gonna do that. Then the person say, well, here, fuck your scissors, and they keep walking, right? Or if I say, yeah, okay, cool, every time they get dull, I'll come over there and start sharpening them for you. Then they agree to accept the scissors only under the conditions that I have to sharpen them every time they get dull. And literally, guys, in under 20 minutes, the shit was that simple. That's literally the way it worked. Literally. And I've done this shit for everything. Literally. Like, I've had situations where they responded back to me. Like, for example, I had a situation some years back where the toll people for the state of Illinois or whatever, they responded back to me and they had the nerve to leave a person name on the correspondence that they sent to me the second time. So when I responded back to that person, I used their name or the name that's on there. Cause you know, it's a dummy name. They don't ever really use their real names. You know what I'm saying? In most situations, it'd be a dummy name. But needless to say, when they responded back the second time, now there's the name on there. So now I have a point of reference. I have someone to specifically aim at. Meaning when I respond this time, I'm going to put their name on it. So now when I respond is, well, Shirley Brown, are you the one that's saying I owe this money? Well, I'm not saying I don't owe it, but I don't seem to recall. I don't seem to have any records here of me owing this money. Shirley Murphy or Shirley Smith or whatever her name is. Can you send me the records that you have showing me exactly how I owe you this money? Because keep in mind, you don't really owe them anything. right? If you with my channel, you should be past the whole all capital letter name shit. You should know what it is, what it's about, why they use it, how people get caught up into it. You should already know about the fraud. Okay? So what I'm trying to do now is just point out to you guys some stuff that you all can use in your own arsenal. If you don't have a Black Laws Dictionary, download it. It don't matter if you got an iPhone. It don't matter if you got, a smartphone or, whatever the case may be. The PDFs are free. Y'all need to download them now before they make it to where you can't get these motherfuckers no more. And y'all already know they scrub a lot of shit from the internet. But I'm just using this right here as an example to help you people that know you're not sovereign citizens or whatever the case may be, but you kind of get caught up into that whole thing about somebody calling you a sovereign citizen and you don't know how to overcome that. All right. Conditional acceptances are real. This is the reason for why a lot of the people that I've gotten into it with, I've had issues where, well, not necessarily issues, but I've had talks with my brother and shit. And like I always would tell him, you don't know what to do after you get that traffic ticket or that parking ticket or whatever the case may be. You don't know what to do with it. This is the reason for why people respond the way that they do. This is the reason for why people tighten up on the steering wheel when cops get behind them, because they don't know what to do during that stop. They don't know what to do after the stop is over and dude then gave them the ticket or whatever the case may be. They don't even know what to do if they end up taking you to jail, like how they did me one time with my homie in the car and shit on the west side, right off Division and Pulaski and shit, with him sitting in the front seat of my whip. Motherfuckers don't know what to do during them situations. They don't know what to do despite the fact that I got out the car, they took me to jail in the whole 9 yards. They don't know what to do after that. So people have this notion that, I better just comply with all this shit and pay all this money and this, that, and the other, or they gonna skull fuck me. I'll give you an example of what I mean about knowing what to do. Let's say what's the name of them bent back down on me, right? The first thing they got to overcome is why it took you 3 months to respond to me. It just told you right here under Black Laws 6th edition that conditional acceptance is a counteroffer. On the fucking shit they sent me, they put the word proposal on it. It's like, wow, really? And that's why I opened up the video by saying to the untrained eye, meaning somebody who gets something in the mail and they think, oh God, I got to pay this shit. And oh my God, a moving violation. That's what I mean when I say to the untrained eye. You'll miss that word that say proposal. You'll miss the other stuff that they put in there in terms of what they go, this is what we're going to do and blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, you can't do that now because I responded to you. Not only did I respond to you, but within the conditional acceptance, I never was argumentative. I was never confrontational. I never told you I wasn't going to pay you. I never told you I didn't owe you. Keep that in mind. That's some more tea for you to sip on, y'all, if y'all made it to this part of the video. Never tell them you don't owe them. Never tell them you're not paying them. Don't ever do that. I mean, you do that fuck you want. Like I said, this is for educational purposes. But once you do some research, you'll understand why I'm telling you. You never put that in there, ever, in any correspondence that you may send back to them in response to something they sent you. Never tell them you don't owe them. Never tell them that you're not gonna pay them. And the reason why you never do those two things, and again, your own research will lead you to this. Now you give a judge somewhere, this fucking dude or woman in a black robe, now you give them jurisdiction. You give them jurisdiction now. Because now they get to say, hey man, we feel like he owe us. He's saying he don't and he not going to pay us. So can you figure this shit out for us? Keep in mind, the judge's supposed to be the referee. Now, if you know how these judges are, like motherfuckers like me and Jim Redwolf and a couple other people that actually do this type of shit, you know that you got to force a lot of these judges to be within honor. Because a lot of them, they break the law and they some punk motherfuckers. But if you know how to fucking wrangle the judge, you know how back in the day, the cowboy movies and shit, you see him twirling that fucking rope around before he throw it to put on a motherfucking neck. Yeah, if you know how to wrangle the judge, then you don't have to have that problem. Because if you can show the judge shit like this, he has to act upon it. It's going back to the 10 maximums of law. Motherfucker who don't know his rights, don't have none kind of shit. This is the reason why I go into court and I'm a no-nonsense type motherfucker. Can you state your name? No. Can you do this? Like the last time, some moving violations shit, they was doing the shit during Zoom meetings and shit. No cops in the chat, nothing. Motherfucking chick was like, can you turn your camera on? No. I'm naked, bitch. I ain't turning on shit. Fuck you. What do you want? Y'all sent me some shit in the mail. It looked like a threat. That's the only reason why I'm here today. How can I help you? Straight up. No, well, your case is dismissed. Yeah, okay. Bye. I'm a no-nonsense type dude because I understand if you want to shag me in traffic court, well, the real courts is upstairs. That's why y'all in the basement. Traffic court in the Daily Center of Chicago, that shit in the basement. They got like, I think it's 32 floors. Don't quote me, it's either 30 or 32 floors in the whole building. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, Chicago is the land of the skyscrapers. Nobody has more skyscrapers than Chicago. Nobody. But I think it's like 30, 32 floors or whatever. These niggas in the basement. It's like, bitch, get your dumb ass out of here and transfer my case upstairs. They hate when you do that because they know you know. Because when you go upstairs and you talk the shit that I'm talking about now, the judge got to throw it out. You ain't got no choice. Because it is a violation of your constitutional rights when they do stupid shit with these traffic stops. Now, back to the conditional acceptance thing. When you're getting these things in the mail, especially whether if it could be the Internal Revenue, it could be the mortgage company, it could be anybody. Conditional acceptances is one of the things that you need to learn. You have to learn what it is. You have to learn how to use it, when to use it. Why are you using it? All right? You got to learn this shit. Okay, this is what some of my Zoom meetings used to be about, but you know, we didn't have very many participants. So I stopped doing it. It's like, I'm not going to keep fucking having these meetings. I'm paying for the fucking Zoom subscription. I'm not going to keep doing these fucking meetings and you know, people can't even tell me about what had happened in the last 2 weeks. I ain't seen or talked to you in 2 weeks. What's been going on? You know, so that's why I stopped doing it because if people ain't going to put rubber to the road, you dig, then you ain't going nowhere. Period. All right, now I didn't talk enough, so I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Let a word to the wise be sufficient, and hopefully you brothers and sisters learn something from this. All right, keep in mind you don't owe these motherfuckers nothing. Straight up, the whole tax shit and the whole 9 yards is all unconstitutional. You have to study it so you can be able to prove it. Straight up, if you don't, because hell, they crooked as hell. You can prove it and they still smack you around. You know what I'm saying? Now, I haven't really experienced that too much in my journey of being able to prove it. I haven't really experienced it. But still, you know the motherfucking crooked ass people are out there with those witches' robes on and shit. Broomsticks and shit up under their desks. You know what I'm saying? Hell, the damn gavel they bang down is made from the broomstick of the witch. Anyway, it's Original Longwolf. I put this kind of shit out because I love y'all, man. Do the research for y'allself. Don't just jump out there and do shit, and don't just follow what everybody tell you. And it's easy to not follow what everybody tell you if you're doing your own goddamn research. All right? Much love to y'all, man. Original Longwolf. Trying to sign out of here, and I done some stupid shit. But anyway, how the hell I close this out? Okay, needless to say, peace out, y'all.